Every educator knows this ritual. Two students dispute on the playground. An adult intervenes, pushing them together to shake hands and mumble an apology. Within 20 minutes, the exact same friction is back. The argument restarts because the performance of an apology doesn't resolve the underlying tension. This model illustrates why the ritual fails. Demanding a sorry before a student has processed their emotions only secures superficial compliance. It places a thin plaster over the wound, while the resentment remains underneath, waiting for the next catalyst to spark a fresh argument. To reach a lasting resolution, we have to look at the ripple effect of a student's behavior. This means moving past the broken rule to examine personal responsibility and the wider community impact. When a student understands how their actions actually hurt those around them, the motivation to change becomes internal. True resolution is a cognitive shift, not a social performance. To make it work, the conditions for peace must be constructed long before a conflict ever occurs. The most effective way to manage classroom conflict is to design an environment where friction struggles to take root. This requires a proactive architecture, a series of daily routines that provide students with the skills to navigate social friction on their own. This starts with the morning circle. These structured daily check-ins give students a dedicated time to voice their emotional state, whether they are arriving tired, frustrated, or anxious. When classmates understand that a peer is having a difficult morning, they develop a situational awareness. They are more likely to extend grace rather than reacting defensively to a minor provocation. Establishing this baseline emotional context serves as the community's first line of defense against random classroom sparks. Conflict often escalates because students lack the words to describe a problem while it's still small. If a child only has the vocabulary for fine or mad, a minor annoyance has a direct, linear path to a full-blown outburst. By integrating emotional literacy into the daily curriculum, we provide alternative pathways. Words like overwhelmed or frustrated give students a way to label their discomfort before it turns into anger. This vocabulary acts as a release valve. A student can say they are feeling overwhelmed by the noise in the room, converting that internal tension into actionable communication rather than lashing out at a neighbor. Precise language neutralizes aggression by giving students the means to be heard without being violent. Traditional classroom rules are often handed down as mandates. This creates a dynamic of policing, where the teacher's primary role is to catch students breaking the law. Proactive resolution relies instead on co-created agreements. This involves the students themselves debating and deciding how they want to treat one another. This collaborative process fosters psychological ownership. Students transition from following a teacher's rules to upholding their own community standards. They aren't just obeying orders, they are protecting a social climate they helped build. A classroom is only truly resilient when the community takes responsibility for maintaining its own peace. Even in a classroom built on these routines, interpersonal friction will still happen. But when it does, the teacher's role shifts. Instead of acting as an authoritarian judge delivering a verdict, the educator becomes a facilitator who guides students toward their own resolution. The students now have a toolkit for autonomy. They know how to step away, cool off, and use "I feel" statements to brainstorm their own collaborative solutions. The reliance on forced handshakes fades away, replaced by students who possess the maturity to navigate their own disagreements. Lasting classroom peace is achieved when we stop reacting to broken rules and start equipping pupils with the tools to navigate the human impact of their actions.